Ever wondered how Marmite is made? This iconic British spread, with its dark, sticky consistency and bold, savory taste, has earned a reputation as a love-it-or-hate-it food. Its unmistakable flavor has made it a pantry staple for millions of households, and its nutritional benefits, especially the high levels of B vitamins, have contributed to its enduring popularity. But how exactly does Marmite go from raw ingredients to the familiar jar on your kitchen shelf? Today, we'll take a detailed look at the entire process, exploring every step from sourcing the essential raw materials to packaging and distribution, revealing the fascinating journey of this unique product. It all starts with the key ingredient, yeast extract. Marmite's main component comes from an often overlooked byproduct of the brewing industry, brewer's yeast. This yeast, which is used to ferment beer, plays a critical role in giving Marmite its distinctive flavor. Breweries across the country provide the yeast for Marmite production, particularly those specializing in ales and lagers. When beer is brewed, yeast is used to convert sugars in the malt into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Once this fermentation process is complete, the yeast is no longer needed for the beer, but it's far from wasted. This byproduct is collected and becomes the foundation for Marmite. Breweries supply the yeast extract directly to Marmite's production facility in large quantities. In fact, Marmite relies on tons of this yeast each week to meet global demand, with its production closely tied to the brewing industry. Once the yeast arrives at the factory, it undergoes an initial cleaning process to ensure it's ready for production. Even though the yeast comes from a controlled brewing environment, it still contains impurities and residuals from the brewing process. To prepare it for use, the yeast is washed thoroughly with water and filtered to remove any leftover particles from the beer, such as hops or barley fragments. At this stage, the yeast looks nothing like the thick, dark spread we recognize. Instead, it's a creamy, yellowish liquid that is rich in proteins, vitamins, and other nutrients. Quality control checks are performed to ensure the yeast meets Marmite's strict standards. Each batch of yeast is tested for purity, consistency, and nutrient content before moving on to the next phase of production. Once the yeast is cleaned and prepared, it enters the primary processing stage where it is transformed into yeast extract. The process begins with autolysis, a natural method of breaking down the yeast cells. During autolysis, the yeast is heated at controlled temperatures, typically between 50 and 60 degrees Celsius, allowing the enzymes within the yeast to break down the cell walls. This is a slow and steady process, taking several hours to complete, but it's crucial for releasing the proteins, amino acids, and other flavorful compounds stored within the yeast cells. These components are what give Marmite its rich, umami flavor. As the autolysis process progresses, the yeast extract begins to take on the distinctive savory taste that will later be enhanced with additional seasonings. The temperature and duration of the autolysis process are carefully monitored to ensure the enzymes work effectively without compromising the yeast's nutritional content. The balance here is critical. Too much heat or time could damage the delicate compounds that give Marmite its flavor, while too little could result in an underdeveloped product. By the end of this stage, the yeast extract is separated from the remaining cell walls and unwanted solids. This is achieved through a series of centrifuges that spin the mixture at high speeds, separating the liquid extract from the solid residues. The solid waste is discarded, while the liquid yeast extract, now rich in flavor, is collected for further processing. At this point, the yeast extract is still quite thin and watery, so the next step is to concentrate it into the thick, sticky consistency that Marmite is famous for. This is done through evaporation, a process that removes excess water from the yeast extract. The yeast extract is transferred to large evaporation tanks, where it is gently heated to allow the water to evaporate. As the water is removed, the extract becomes thicker and darker, eventually transforming into the deep brown, almost black color we associate with the finished product. This evaporation process can take several hours, as the mixture is reduced down to the perfect consistency. The temperature and timing of this stage are crucial, as overheating can affect both the flavor and texture of the final product. Once the yeast extract reaches the right thickness, it's ready for the next stage, flavoring. Marmite's distinctive flavor comes not just from the yeast extract itself, but also from a carefully balanced blend of additional ingredients. At this stage, salt, vegetable extracts, and spices are added to the concentrated yeast extract to create Marmite's signature taste. The exact recipe is a closely guarded secret, but it's known that salt plays a key role in enhancing the natural umami flavors of the yeast extract. The salt also serves as a preservative, ensuring that Marmite can be stored for long periods without spoiling. The seasoning is added in precise amounts, with each batch of Marmite meticulously measured to maintain the same flavor profile across every jar. This blending process takes place in large mixing tanks, where the yeast extract is thoroughly combined with the other ingredients to create a uniform mixture. Once the flavoring is complete, the next step is packaging. Marmite's iconic glass jars are an essential part of its branding, and they are prepared and sterilized before being filled with the spread. The filling machines are designed to handle Marmite's thick, sticky consistency, ensuring that each jar is filled accurately. The jars are vacuum sealed to lock in freshness and preserve the product for long periods. Hygiene is of the utmost importance during this stage, as any contamination could compromise the product. Each jar is filled and sealed within seconds, with the machines capable of processing several thousand jars per hour. After the jars are sealed, they move to the labeling area, where Marmite's distinctive branding is applied. The jars are labeled with the famous yellow cap and black and white design, which has become instantly recognizable on store shelves. After labeling, every jar of Marmite undergoes a rigorous inspection process to ensure quality. This includes checking for any issues with the seal, the fill level, and the label placement. Workers and automated systems monitor each jar to make sure it meets Marmite's high standards. Once the jars pass inspection, they are packed into boxes and prepared for distribution. Marmite is produced in massive quantities to meet the high global demand, with millions of jars manufactured each year. The jars are packed into boxes, which are then loaded onto pallets and moved to large storage warehouses. These warehouses are climate-controlled to ensure the product remains in perfect condition until it is shipped out. Marmite's long shelf life means that it doesn't require refrigeration, but keeping it in cool, dry conditions helps preserve its flavor and texture. From the warehouse, Marmite is distributed to retailers all over the world. The logistics involved in getting Marmite from the factory to store shelves are extensive. Shipments go out regularly to ensure that Marmite is always available for consumers, both in the UK and abroad. Marmite is shipped in bulk to distribution centers, from where it is sent to individual retailers. In the UK, Marmite can be found in nearly every supermarket, and its reach extends far beyond British shores. Marmite has a global fan base, with jars exported to countries around the world, including Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and South Africa. The product's unique flavor has even inspired variations in other countries, although none have quite captured the same following as the original. As Marmite makes its way to store shelves, the final step in the journey is, of course, the consumer. Whether spread on toast, stirred into soups, or used as a secret ingredient in recipes, Marmite's versatility has made it a beloved food product for those who enjoy its distinctive taste. Despite its polarizing flavor, Marmite has maintained a loyal fan base for over a century, and its production process reflects the care and precision that goes into every jar. If you enjoyed learning about how Marmite is made, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content on food production. We'll continue to bring you more behind-the-scenes looks at how your favorite foods are created. So stay tuned for more exciting videos that explore the intricate processes behind some of the world's most iconic products.